Good day. This is Eric from ASONUS Audio. Today I just want to go over with you a little trick in Studio One. You can do this in version 3 and 4. The first part you can only do in version 3. But what we're going to do is we're going to emulate sort of like an analog stage at the input stage here for, while tracking. And what we're going to do is show you how you can actually track through plugins. And so if you want to be able to track through a compressor, you don't have outboard gear, you want to track some vocals through compressor or your drums through compressor, as you're tracking, this is going to give you the ability to do that. What we want to do is click on our inputs here. Okay. And what's not apparent when you first click on this is when you double click on it, you'll see that you've got this insert window here where you can put a plugin chain. Okay. And what I did here is I just put a little amp sim on there, this Klaghelm SDRR, just for take off some of the fizz that you normally get with the amp sims, Hornet meter for to control my gain reduction. Then I just ran it through some SSL plugins here to just simulate sort of like a SSL type analog warmth. So I've got the NLS channel set to spike for the SSL setting. Then the SSL-E channel, just a notch of highs on there, not much. Then in the SSL-EQ, and then the SSL bus compressor with maybe 1-2 dBs of gain reduction. Not doing much with them, I'm just mainly using them for color. And then I ran it through the Kramer tape as well. So I'm just trying to get some extra color and warmth as I'm tracking. Yes, you can add all these plugins in the post stage, but this just gives you more of that feel of like as if you were tracking through in an analog situation or through some outboard gear, and then it's going to save you some valuable CPU resources once you get to that mixing stage. Basically, you can do this for every input stage here. So if you've got I'm at home, so this is my AudioBox 22 VSL, so this is just a 2-channel. I've got my left and right here, that's my stereo, and this is my input 1, input 2. But if you've got at home, you've got a 8 input or 16 input track, but you don't have outboard gear, you can basically go through all these inserts here and load up a compressor here. Let's say you want to do some outboard, some drums and live drums, and you can add some outboard gear simulation in the insert stage here. So just some options you might not have known were available. Let me just play you really quickly the difference here. Here's the SSL, I call this guitar SSL, so this is what I track to that plugin chain. Then I've got this guitar normal, which basically is, normally track guitar, the dry DI, and then the amp sim on the insert here. Okay, let's just play this real quick. Okay, so you can see that is has a bit more of a warm signal to it than the direct through the normal chain here. So also you can see that we get the some of the compression, that natural compression we get through distortion here. If you look at these waveforms here, let me just blow this up here for you. So you can see here's these transients poking through on the DI track through here, and then here we've just got more of the natural compression that we get from distortion. so we get a little bit tighter waveform on that. Shrink this back down here. Okay, so once I did that, it got me thinking, you know, could I do this through the console shaper that's built in the Studio One Professional? Now, this next part is only available, you can only do this in Studio One 4. Okay, so what I did is I created a bus channel here and I loaded it on the console shaper, added a bit of drive. Just remember, the more drive you add, the more makeup gain you need on your input stage to make up for this, because you get gain reduction. Some noise. Crosstalk is not applicable here. So I create the bus here, and the next thing I have to do, I did, was go to my audio I/O setup here. So I right click, hit audio I/O, then I hit add stereo, and I just name this dead for lack of imagination. You can name it whatever you want. Just make sure you have none of your inputs selected here. Okay, so once we got that done, next we want to add a new track. Want to do is we want to add a stereo track. Now, you're probably wondering, why do I want to add a stereo track if I'm going to record a mono source like vocals or a guitar? I'm going to show you that in a second. So first we want to do is we want to go over here to input stage and select buses, and then the console shaper bus that we created. Okay. Okay, so you see we got this new track here. Now if we come over here and we click on here, you can see we got, you know, we got our buses, outputs, tracks, and our normal inputs. Okay, but what we're going to do is we're going to switch this back to mono for when we start tracking. But you'll notice what happens is we lose some of the things in here. The outputs and the buses are gone. So that's why we've got to create a stereo track first, and then use the selector on here to switch it to mono. Otherwise, if you try to make the mono track, those options are not available to you. Okay, so let me just get rid of this track here. Okay, so let me play you the difference now between the normal recorded track and the one run to the SSL. Not the SSL, the console shaper here. Okay, so you get the idea. Again, it's you know, a bit warmer, and of course you see we get some of the natural compression again on the waveform here from the distortion happening. So these are just some options available for you that you might not have known were available to you. If you knew about this insert for the on the input stage here, you know, kudos to you. If you didn't, you find this useful and it helps you out in any way, or being able to you know, track right through the console shaper inside Studio One helps you. You know, like, subscribe, share, all that other good stuff everybody else asks for, and have a great day.